So I don't know how much you guys know about the supply chain issues and what's been going on, but we get Taco Bell. I get Taco Bell probably once a week, sometimes twice a week if I'm feeling lonely or
Twice a week? That seems pretty unhealthy.
well, they got a lot of. I mean, they're always doing new stuff. It's very exciting, and I missed the wings. The wings were 1 week only, and I was so fucking mad. So to express my disappointment, I went to go give Taco Bell a bunch of money and get a bunch of other Taco Bell things that I would have gotten with the wings.
You're such a good man.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a noble man you are.
Adopted the Chihuahua after you retired.
Yokiro doing my part. So we get backed up in this line because all these lines are so long, and then like people start leaving the line, at like a record pace, and usually there's one or two at a late night. This is I don't know 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. There's always somebody bailing. It happens all the time, but there's like 2-3 people. So we roll up to the window, and the guy goes, "Man, we just got robbed at gunpoint for all our taco meat. We can't do nothing."
Oh my God!
I said, "You got robbed at gunpoint for your taco meat?" Because right away, and this is again, if you don't want to work, brother, that's cool with me. I'm all on top of that. You want to have a reason to close, or if you did get robbed, that's a reason enough to close. I don't need you to lie and say that you got robbed for all the taco meat.
I would have believed this man instantly. Like, oh my God, are you okay?
Well, here's the deal. It's not a problem, but I pre-ordered my meal, and I didn't order anything with taco meat. So I'm thinking I should still be able to get this, right? I've already paid. It's all digital. Let's just get this order processed, and then I'll be on my way, and you can deal with the cops. And also, there's no cops. Did you call the cops? Is it an inside job?
The cop was probably just like you. He scoffed at the idea of someone stealing taco meat from Taco Bell.
And then the guy walks me through how to cancel my online order.
Oh, my God. He goes, man,
exactly.
It's too much emotional distress tonight.
He was determined not to work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what it is. And again, totally cool with that. That's a great reason. I mean, I love it. I'm sure whatever the conditions are, they're a nightmare. They don't care about COVID. Awesome. But don't lie to me about the taco. How did they rob you? The dining room's not open. So somebody rolled up to the window, fucking Glock in hand. Give me all the taco meat.
I'd throw it at him. Here! I'd shut the window.
I mean, if I'm going through that trouble, right, at least put it in some stuff, right? Give me a couple of Doritos Locos. I'm looking for a grilled cheese burrito. I'm looking for a CGC.
So wait, my big question is, what did you do? I mean, you're at Taco Bell at 1 o'clock. You didn't have a backup plan.
I went to the next Taco Bell. I just went to the next Taco Bell. They had not been robbed. Everything was fine. I did get refunded on the order. The guy talked me through it. He was very kind. Again, for someone who had just been robbed at gunpoint, very patient.
Second Taco Bell we just came into a windfall of taco meat. So
yeah, the next one to go. We just got an influx of taco meat. A very generous benefactor.
One of the trunks in the back of the lot that looks like where the employees park. What's going on there? What's the situation there?
This taco meat's a little rancid. Fell off the back of a truck.
It's been room temp for a day now.
But anyway, so yeah, I spent like $30 at the other Taco Bell. I had to drive. It was.
I just got back from Taco Bell. I had it for dinner tonight.
Spoilers. What'd you eat?
I had a.
You say spoilers? That you had Taco Bell for dinner?
Spoilers, because I know at the end of the show we all talk about what we had for dinner.
We all do our dinner.
It's the big culmination of the show where we discuss what we had.
I had a Spam sandwich and I had Taco Bell.
That's the most classic HiLo bit I remember.
Spoilers. Yeah. Spoiler alert. But
the game. What did everyone else have for dinner?
How did everyone else shower tonight?
That's the game I brought, so it's ruined now.
Oh, great. Now we got to pitch and make a new game.
Well, I ordered stuff with black beans on it, and they said, we don't got any black beans. What do you want? What else do you want?
They have been robbed.
Sorry, robbed of all the black beans.
I like the Taco Bell black beans. We're going to get them.
They've got black beans. That was it, right? Half of the order was totally vegetarian for my wife, so it was all black beans. Right. And my stuff, I usually go chicken or steak. I'm not fucking around with the ground beef. That's just liquid gold. I mean, that's like dealing in spice.
You mean ground horse? That's horse meat. We all know it.
Horse like H. It's that valuable.
Welcome to the HiLo Cast. I'll let you get it in there. Spoiler alert.
New things.
Dinner roundup. Who's going first?
Well, I haven't eaten yet because I came straight from home to do this, so now I'm also hungry.
It's
Thank
Eric
you about y'all's Taco
Dinner
Bell.
roundup.
We have a really long, it's 20 minutes segment about what they ate.
Paul, when's the last time? I'm curious, and we'll get to our good friend Stefan. Stefan, welcome to the HiLo Cast. Welcome everybody. Paul, when's the last time you had Taco Bell, and have you ever robbed it with a gun?
So Taco Bell, you know, it's like every other time I go, I get diarrhea from it.
Oh,
so
geez.
I don't
You need
go
more
that
fiber.
often.
I feel like that's bullshit because so many people blame Taco Bell and that stuff. You hear the taco smell, you hear all that stuff. I don't think Taco Bell ever makes, if I overeat, like if I eat way too much Taco Bell, which I do, I don't feel great.
Well, you're not getting from like the equivalent of Taco Bell's dollar menu, like the bean burrito with onions.
Paul, I'm going to correct you right there. I get a bean and cheese burrito with every single order. It's the one thing that I get no matter what. They don't have the Mexican pizza anymore, so I can't get that every single time. I don't get that anymore.
Hey.
But I've been having that bean burrito since I was fucking 7 years old.
Well, that's why you know I don't have it like that often. It's just like
you were 7 years old.
So that's the trick, right? If you just train your body, right? I'm like a fucking Olympic athlete.
It's like Rasputin would drink poison every day, so he could never be poisoned.
My favorite thing about ordering Taco Bell is when I ask my wife what she wants, and she just, in the cutest way, goes, "Can I get a cheesy gordita crunch?" I'm like, "You can have whatever you want, my love. Anything in the world."
There's your next Taco Bell commercial.
Poison.
The breakfast is pretty good, but they should do the breakfast. If they did the breakfast all day, we'd be fucking set.
Now,
nobody would rob that place.
This is turning into such a deep dive on Taco Bell. I'm loving it. How were the wings? You actually had them, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is I didn't get there in time because they only had them for a week. The guy,
they're bringing them back.
Taco meat, and we just molded the taco meat around the chicken bones anyway. So,
do you miss the Taco Bell pizza?
Every day
the Mexican pizza?
Yeah, the Mexican pizza.
I was just saying that. Yeah, so I used to always get no matter what, baseline order is bean and cheese burrito, Mexican pizza, and then I get the bullshit on top of it, whatever the crazy fucking item of the week is. And now they don't have the Mexican pizza anymore, but they're gonna bring it back. They always bring it back.
They're gonna reboot it even.
Oh, good segue to the topic of today's show.
Stuffed crust
Reboots. Now I feel fast food does reboot stuff all the time, though. Am I crazy? Like, oh, this chicken sandwich was bullshit. 2 years later, the all new chicken sandwich. This one's got flair.
It's the McRib. It's back, baby.
Is the McRib's not? So I really wanted to distinguish the word, what reboot exactly means. Everyone can take a stab at the definition. I didn't look it up. I didn't go to dictionary.com today.
Okay, that's a good way to start this.
Because you got reboots, you got remakes, you got retakes.
Reboot equal is the word I like to use.
A reboot is when you power cycle a device and start it up again so that it can reset all its default configuration.
Thanks, Willis. You're welcome.
That's what we're talking about today. Restarting your computer.
Turning shit off and turning it back on.
I also want to talk about the 1993 Canadian computer animated TV show Reboot.
Yes,
on Saturday mornings.
We're gonna do a whole 30 minutes on the series Reboot. Don't worry.
Don't worry. There's a whole bit where what would Megabyte get a Taco Bell?
We all made Reboot cosplays.
The other night, 4 of us went off air to watch a movie, and then we ended up watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. So that really doesn't seem like that far off from this is what it'll end up being about. Who gives a shit?
So a true reboot is not a sequel or a prequel, right? It's like a redo.
But it's different from a remake, because a remake is also that. I think a reboot specifically has something new. That's bringing something new to the table that the remake doesn't have. So like The Force Awakens, even though it's a sequel, it's also kind of a reboot. Because it's like it's basically episode 4 again, but with a few changes, new cast, all that kind of stuff.
I was going to ask, like, if they bring in the old cast members playing the same characters, doesn't that automatically make it a sequel, though? Like, despite the fact, like you say, that it is the same exact plot, which I fucking hate in these movies. Like, I would love for you to make a sequel movie that has a different plot and different plot elements. Speaking of which, Ghostbusters Afterlife, I hated it. It was terrible.
I can't believe you hated it.
Okay,
Eric Z loved it.
I did. I really liked Ghostbusters.
Initially, you did. But you also walked out of Spider-Man 3 and said, this is the best fucking Spider-Man movie I've ever seen.
I get the Spider-Man 3. It's canon in the show. Everyone knows how I feel about the original Spider-Man 3. Ghostbusters, however, I do stand behind, and I do enjoy it still.
Stefan, have you seen the new Ghostbusters?
No, I skipped it. I saw the creepy Harold Ramis, but that was about it.
I skipped it at the movie theaters because of that, but now I can watch it in the comfort of my own home. It took me two tries.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cosplay as Paul Rudd in that movie and go to Walmart, recreate,
start knocking shit.
Great Walmart tour, the Ghostbuster store.
I love a movie set in a brightly lit Walmart. The most
ghost movie specifically.
Yes.
The nicest Walmart. That was the point my wife made. The nicest Walmart you've ever seen in your life. Like it's
nobody
brand
in it.
new, it's clean,
yeah,
but it's also in the middle of fucking nowhere. No fucking way that Walmart's that good.
Paul, I take it you didn't see the new Ghostbusters, right? You had no.
I think I downloaded it. I haven't seen it yet. I've kind of given up on movies for a while after The Matrix. I'm kind of done with that.
Well, The Matrix in of itself was a reboot because it was the plot of the first Matrix.
It's shit, is what it was. It's not. I wouldn't call it anything. It's besides shit.
Did we do that movie? We already did this on air, The Matrix.
Yeah, we did a whole hour on this last time.
Can we identify? Because again, I think there's three categories. I think there is a remake, which is the same thing again. That's like Psycho, right? Gus Van Sant's Psycho. It's the same fucking thing, except
Funny Games, another one, shot for shot.
Shot for shot.
Vince Vaughn's there for some reason.
I was gonna say Total Recall with Colin Farrell, total remake of the original.
Similar,
but that one's on Earth instead of Mars. That's something new. I think that's a reboot.
I would argue.
I never saw it.
Australia is Mars in that one.
And that's what a reboot is, right? A reboot is the same characters and a general same maybe feeling or genre, but maybe different events, a la Star Trek, right? Same thing, right? We go in a wildly different direction. And then for some reason, 2 goes back in the very same direction.
But it also has a direct tie into all the old Star Trek with Spock in it, though.
But he's from a different universe. This is the Kelvin universe.
God.
And that's where we get into reboot equals. So that's where it's a sequel, a la Scream 2022.
I still haven't seen it.
It's a sequel with it's characters. But also, I'm just telling you that Sydney's in it. That's all it is. Sydney and Courtney Cox and Dewey are in it.
Didn't Dewey get killed?
Dewey's in it.
Dewey's back, baby.
Aren't they divorced, Courtney Cox and David Arquette?
Very much so. And they have like this extremely tender scene where it's like they miss each other and they might miss each other. Literally Katie was crying. I was like, this is really sad. I feel like they like each other still. Like it's such a bummer. They still run a production company together. So they have
She goes, hey Dewey, have you had the chicken wings from Taco Bell?
Goes, no,
they're to die for.
It's only 1 week.
He goes, let's go walk through this Walmart together.
That's the conceit. It's a test kitchen.
Movies are like now.
They have a test kitchen for Taco Bell that's rolling out an item for 1 week only in their town. Everyone comes back to town to try it.
Everybody comes back. What is it? Haverford? What's the town in Scream? I forget. Haverford, something like that. They do have an Elm Street. I know Eric knows that. They have an Elm Street. Elm Street is very significant in the Stab universe, which is the movies in Scream made about the events of the Scream movies that we watch.
Okay, got it.
They got a Camp Crystal Lake. They got a Chucky doll factory, of course.
My favorite part of the whole thing in this newest Scream is that we're up to Stab 8. That's the best part.
That's a pretty good show.
They go Stab 8 is fucking ridiculous. Like
I would have loved if Ghostface was the main character and he's a game developer. He made all these games based on.
Here's the deal. I'm telling you, man. This movie. The problem is, I don't think so. No one's seen it but me. Is that correct?
Does Ghostface go to his therapist in that one?
Yeah, can we guess
know.
what Ghostface does in this new one? And you let us know if we're right or wrong.
Ghostface guess. Yeah, that's a good segment. I mean,
Ghostface guess is already a great name for it.
This is where you insert the little animation thing you've done.
The Chiron for Ghostface guess. Yeah, Ghostface comes in.
Yeah.
But it's so of the time, and like again, like when I see anything that has any sort of cultural weird touchstone, I left the theater. I texted you guys. I said, I gotta know what Paul thinks about this. Like I'm dying. I need to know. But Paul, I don't know what your experience with Scream is to this point. How many Screams have you seen? Are you up to date? I mean, obviously you haven't seen the newest one, but tell me about your Screamiverse.
Hey, give us your Ghostface guess at the end of this. What do you think he's doing in this new one?
Ghostface.
He's from the Wu-Tang Clan.
You know Ghostface, Paul, right?
No, Ghostface.
I saw one, and Ghostface got high in it.
Oh my God.
Scary movie.
You are making a joke on me, Paul. You're joking.
Oh, that's
good.
That's funny. That's a funny joke. I get it.
Wait, that's not the same thing? I don't.
His face turns into the smiley face.
So Scream and a scary movie, those are two separate things.
Yeah, this is Ghostface. There's Ghostface.
They're separate things. However, I don't know how many of you guys know this. Scream was supposed to be called Scary Movie. That was its original working title.
Yes.
I think I did know that, yeah.
So one of the things I was gonna ask about, like this new Scream, is like how do they? There it is.
That's what you're thinking of, Paul.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
A big portion of Ghostface in this movie is doing the "What's Up" Budweiser commercial.
I forgot how funny he looked.
It's really funny.
A couple of movies are so good.
He's all
the first one in particular is great. We could all agree to that.
He looks hilarious.
Oh my God.
So a scary movie is the comedy, right?
Yeah.
It's a spoof. It's a spoof movie of originally just of Scream, and then it becomes about everything you can. It becomes about signs. It becomes about
So Scream is like a real scary movie.
Scream is actually pretty meta in itself. Speaking of like Matrix and stuff, it's Scream is the late 90s answer to. It's kind of like a commentary on 80s slasher movies into the 90s. So it's kind of making fun of them, but at the same time, it is its own actual horror film that creates its own, universe at the same time.
This is what's Craven doing and what he does.
The cool thing is that even 2011 Scream 4 is about 2011, and then this new one is about our current situation right now and where we're at with horror and just our connection to all things media. The whole opening, they do the Scream opening where, scary movie, and he's talking to her on the phone.
He goes, "What's up?"
She talks about how slashers aren't scary, and she just name drops a bunch of A24 movies, and it's fucking amazing. Immediately, I was like, this is the best fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. I was so into it from point one.
I will say this past Halloween, we rewatched the original Scream, and I was so fucking impressed. I probably hadn't seen it in like 10 years, like a solid 10 years. So I've matured quite a bit in that time. So I was watching it again, and I worked in the film industry, obviously, over those 10 years. So like I had this totally new appreciation for it. And I thought that original Scream is probably one of the most incredible horror movies ever made.
Stephen, we're
it's a horror movie.
2 though. 2 is so good.
I haven't seen 2 in a really long time. I never followed up.
I remember really liking Scream, and like I think I've seen all 4 of the first ones, and then I even watched the TV show, the shitty MTV TV show.
I never watched that.
Pretty good.
I almost worked on that.
Oh.
The new Ghostface. He had his tongue.
Yeah.
It was something. They wanted me to sculpt something for it, and I was busy at the time, and I was like, "Fuck! I wish I would have done it because it was bad."
If it makes me feel better, I remember nothing about it.
I was going to say, I think they kind of loosely connect it to 4. That's the kind of, because it's 4 happens and then they do this the TV series. So it's kind of again really vaguely not a reboot equal, maybe
something else.
Wait, is the TV show tied into the movies?
Yes,
but it's kind of loosely, yeah. It's almost a reboot on its own because it's the same more or less plot, but stretched over like 8 episodes or something. It's like pretty short, I think.
Oh, cool, interesting.
Yeah, it's not very long.
But yeah, like way more characters, like more time with every character and all that kind of stuff because TV show and all that kind of stuff. But
right.
It's really
got
all
the things
it's got a
Chucky did right.
It's got a ghost face I could have a beer with. Let me tell you.
Look at that guy.
Look at that.
He looks like a sucking dick.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, he does.
It looks like they made a wax mask and then they just torched it a little bit to melt it just a touch.
Why wouldn't you just use the iconic ghost face? Maybe you couldn't.
I wonder what the rights issues are, and they had to make it.
They didn't have the budget. They couldn't go to Party City.
Wait, is that was the real Ghostface that you just had?
That was the actual one who killed all those kids.
Yeah, that's the real life Ghostface.
I've never seen that before.
You want to see it again, Paul? You want to see it one more time? The real Ghostface?
I don't think I've ever seen.
Terrifying, I think.
That's from the documentary about the real.
About the real Ghostface.
Let me ask you your Ghostface guess. Is Ghostface based on a real killer?
Yes, I have no idea. I don't think I've seen any of them. My understanding of Scream is the Scary Movie Ghostface. Like that.
Paul, let me ask you: is Scream a documentary or is Stab a documentary?
Yeah, I don't know what any of those are, man. I've seen a Scary Movie, I think. I don't think I've seen Scream.
Hey, leave Paul alone, Shannon. He doesn't know.
Paul, have you ever seen Stab?
No, I don't know what this is.
Please leave him alone.
I think in universe, having the same mask in Stab is like kind of like weird and disrespectful.
Yes,
like there's like real ass murders in this universe, and they're just like, well, just use the same mask. We'll make this exactly the same.
Do you know what real show did that? American Horror Story Hotel has a whole episode about serial killers coming to a party. And these are all real killers who murdered people, and their victims could be at home watching American Horror Story right now. They don't want to see these guys having a party.
Yeah, having them be infamous and immortalized on television.
Everybody at the party likes John Wayne Gacy. He killed my grandfather.
He ate my uncle.
He had great stag parties, though, so, you know.
Yeah, to be fair.
Great clown, I think.
Great clown. I just, one more sidebar. I love when a movie has a movie within a movie that's based on the first movie. It's always great.
It's so good. And that's why Scream 2 is my favorite, because that's when we introduced Stab, and we introduce it in the best possible way. Someone gets killed in Scream 2 at the premiere of Stab, and it's Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife and star of The Matrix Revolutions, or whatever it is. I don't know what the new
Resurrection.
The last two. Also, she's in love with Tupac.
Too, I guess,
right? She loves that little bird robot. Flies in. So we're talking reboot and reboot equals.
There's been some good reboots, right? Like It. Y'all remember the new It? That was good.
The first chapter of it was really good, and then the second chapter was like the worst.
In the toilet.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm talking about the good one, obviously.
And it is a remake. It's not a reboot. It's a remake of.
Yeah, I guess that's a remake, but it also changes the story a little bit. So
it does make a couple of the characters gay.
That's fun.
All right,
no more werewolf.
Here's another one I think is a good remake or reboot. I don't know which it is, but I like it. Dread came out redone in 2012.
That is a reboot of the Judge Dredd franchise, I would say.
And the other one, Mad Max Fury Road. Another one that's like probably a good one. Or Shin Godzilla. Those are the other two that I had.
But is Mad Max? I would argue that Mad Max and Dredd could be sequels. We don't know, right?
We don't know, but that's what I'm saying is like we could establish a reboot definition and then immediately throw it out because it doesn't matter because all of it is just like creatively bankrupt.
I feel like
redoing the same thing.
Dredd is based on a comic book, right?
Yes.
So there's no such thing as a reboot in Dredd world for me. Anything that's based on a comic book, you can't reboot it because it's based on something else. Same
for it.
Right. And Dune, Dune wasn't a reboot of the Dune movie. It's just another version of Dune. Like it's not a reboot technically. And I think reboot, much like you were saying earlier, it's just a term made up to fuck with people. Like it doesn't mean anything.
It's like marketing buzz.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like it's almost indistinguishable between that, like a prequel even, where it's just like, we're just doing the same story again, but we need like an excuse to like, oh no, this isn't a remake. Like people got sick of remakes.
Yeah.
Like, no.
What was the first prequel? What was the first? Because that's something.
Episode 1.
I mean, what was that? What it was? Because I always think about like that was certainly the first time I ever heard the term.
The first time you heard the term, the first prequel that I can think of is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which takes place before the first Indiana Jones.
I would not have remembered that, but that makes sense. Goonies 2.
So
the NES video game.
The thing with Dune is the new one, it utterly replaces the old one. Like you wouldn't even go back and watch it. So, but there's
I don't know. I want to watch the old one. I've never seen it before, but I watched like a video on YouTube about it, and it looked entertaining as hell. Like it looked so weird.
It looks
you'd fall asleep halfway through.
And it's David Lynch's birthday, so you might as well. So
I might as well watch a 2.5-hour David Lynch Dune movie.
He's watching right now. So
happy birthday to my good friends Buzzo, Woody, Tukey.
It's time to let it David. It's time to let in David from backstage. Let him in, Alan. Let David in. Show all the fans.
They're not in my life anymore, and I hate them now.
Last year, they forgot my birthday, so I threw them out of the house.
One of my favorite reboots, and one of my favorite versions of like reboots or redos is animation reboots, because like you do that as many times as you fucking want. Who cares?
Like the Jungle Book?
Yeah, make it live action. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
I'm specifically talking about DuckTales because I fucking loved the new DuckTales. It was really
new DuckTales is dope. Yeah.
Reboots have been having a lot more in television, I guess, because have they?
Yeah, because it's like super easy. I saw a list. There was like in prepping for this, where there was like 40 something shows that are being rebooted. Frasier's coming back.
Oh, baby,
they're rebooting Frasier.
Niles, I'm so rich now. I can't believe it.
Any sitcom from the 80s or 90s that you can think of, there's probably a reboot coming for it right now, like Wonder Years or All in the Family, that kind of shit.
Well, did you hear everything? I heard today.
I would love an All in the Family remake where Archie is just dealing with everything that Paul's upset about. That would make me so.
Archie is a MAGA fan.
They already did Roseanne. It's fine.
Yeah, I want Archie's head in it. Archie's head in a jar. He's still alive.
Yeah. He's got little crab legs walking around.
It's a sequel. It's a straight up sequel.
The re-equal.
Women's, they play women's sports. If they're men's, they play men's sports.
How can she be the highest grossing female Jeopardy champion, Edith?
Let me get this straight. Ghostface is a girl now?
That's my Ghostface guess, is that Sydney. She's traumatized and she's the new Ghostface.
I bet it's a woman. It has to be.
It was a woman in the fourth one. It was
They're gonna do it again. No, it was a woman in the second one, wasn't it?
They got rid of the green M&M, Edith.
They made her less sexy, Edith. What am I?
They need more personality.
What am I gonna jerk off to, Edith? If the green M&M's not wearing high heels.
Now, this news that came out today, I guess is more of a sequel than a reboot, but they're going to do a new version of A Christmas Story, but now Ralphie, the actor, is all grown up. He's going to be the dad character.
That's a sequel.
That's a sequel because he's playing Ralphie as a grown man, yes?
It's just a sequel.
But if you're doing the story from the kid's perspective, isn't that also a reboot? That's what I'm saying. These terms are meaningless.
If it's the exact same story where a kid wants a certain gift and then he hurts his eye, I swear to God, I'm going to burn the theater down.
They still have that leg lamp.
You know somebody's going to lick a pole and nothing's going to
happen. What do y'all think? Do you think the vacation...
Yeah, global warming happens. It's not cold enough anymore.
Yeah.
My tongue burned.
I want to propose this question. The vacation movies, National Lampoon's Vacation, are the sequels... Could those potentially be reboots? Because I know the kid actors don't ever return, and there's no linear storyline necessarily. Like they don't talk about Wally World and the other ones, right? So it's like it could be like reboots, basically, or redos.
Well, they put
up like serialized, like disconnected stories. But they did reboot that with Ed Helms. They did Vacation again.
That's right, they did. That was pretty. I never saw it.
Was he playing Clark or was he playing Rusty? All grown
he was playing
up?
Chevy Chase. Just
wow.
the human.
He's playing the
actor.
Being a jerk to people on SNL.
Yeah, it's a man on the moon situation. He's really in the role backstage.
Yeah, he's just driving around in a golf cart mowing down people.
Yeah, they did that documentary about Ed Helms, how he got lost in the role.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm losing it.
He is playing Rusty Griswold. Because
it's a reboot.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a remake / reboot.
Again,
sequel.
Most of these things are reboot equals. That's where I'm landing with all
because
that.
they feel like if we don't shoehorn in the original cast, people,
or at least references to them, right?
That's all that Ghostbusters movie is. I'm sorry to go back to Ghostbusters, but you think the lady Ghostbusters from 2016 or whatever, that was a reboot of the first Ghostbusters because it was beat for beat that whole story. And then you have this new kid.
Well, no, it's a reboot equal. The original cast is in it, and as their older selves.
No, they're not themselves. Bill Murray is like a professor.
They're all playing different people.
Are you sure?
Weird.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, definitely.
Positive. But in this new one, they're playing themselves now. But there's kid amalgamations down to like, hey, there's a one black kid and one black Ghostbuster. It's crazy, and I just it's all getting so mixed up nowadays.
I want the characters from the 2016 reboot to meet up with the old Ghostbusters, so it's just them playing off themselves.
They're gonna come through a portal.
They're gonna come through.
There you go. And there they are. Now they're here.
And then they're gonna open another portal. They're gonna be busting ghosts with Goku.
And then they got to stop Super Gozer this time. It's the bigger version of Gozer, I guess.
Goku stops them crossing the stream so that he can fight the strongest form.
I feel like that's what happened with Spider-Man, right? Is Hollywood will learn the worst possible lesson, and every single movie from here on out, they'll go, well, yeah, we can hire fucking Rusty Griswold. He's fucking not. He's basically never done anything else. You know, like we can
yeah. Can we get with anything other than Spider-Man though? Because like, who gives a shit about any other like comic book character other than like Spider-Man or like Superman or Batman or whatever?
You'll get all the Batman. You'll get all the fucking.
Well, we're already getting all the Batman. That's going to happen in Flash. That's already a done deal. They're all going to be in that shit.
Oh,
there aren't enough. Unless you did like, oh, here's every Freddy Krueger. That would just be two of them, I guess. Unless there was like a TV
I want to see John Cena shoot the original Peacemaker.
I want to see Paul Dano stab Jim Carrey's
Riddler. That's what I want to see. All the Jokers. I want to see Jack Nicholson back as the Joker, all fat now.
Yeah.
And I want to see him with Joaquin Phoenix and Jared Leto's Joker in a Joker vacation movie.
And a CG ghost Heath Ledger Joker.
He's driving.
And
he never talks, though.
He doesn't say anything. Yeah.
He just keeps looking.
Like,
yeah, he just keeps asking you how you got those scars.
He next to him and just looks and then takes off down a different path.
At the end, they all hug and he turns the light and he flies away.
It was really.
We were too serious.
they straight up brought a man back from the dead to be in that movie. It was a little unsettling.
But they've been doing that in Star Wars for a little while because they did that with Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher, yeah.
And the other one.
Couldn't let her die in peace with dignity.
Like, is it Sky Captain that started that shit? Because they had like fucking some old ghoulish actor back from the dead playing a villain in that movie too. That was like 2003. And I don't think I'd ever seen a movie do that before, where like that's sort of like The Crow, where they had to like digitally replace him after he was dead or whatever.
But it's the new normal. I mean, this is going to happen more and more. Like, yeah,
I get why, because Eric, you might know a little more about this, but like actors are trying like to retain their, I guess, likeness rights or whatever, so they can't be created digitally somewhere down the line.
They have every fucking right to do that, and I hate celebrities still. You know, like
here's the thing, like, so say I'm mid-level, right? Say I'm a C-list star, right? I've got money, like a Grand Moff Tarkin type, right? Like somebody
like a Walking Dead type.
Right? Yeah. I've got money, but I don't have that much money. I would sell the rights to my face in a heartbeat, right? You would go, let me cash out now so I can enjoy the money while I'm alive, because when I'm dead, it's not gonna fucking matter to me, right? And my kids can go fuck themselves. They don't need that money. I'm gonna take it now. I'm gonna party up. And then you can make CGI fucking Betty White, you know,
I just
coming down the spaceship.
I get offended as a practical artist when, like, you know, people rip apart makeups or like sets or props or whatever. Oh, the prop looks rubber, or the set looks shitty, or the makeup looks shitty, and I'm like, everyone can like just drill into that stuff, but they seem to forgive really easily a badly animated CG character that's integrated into like a real world with other real characters. Like that, to me, more than anything, drives me fucking up a wall. I'm like, this is clearly not in there with them, and we're all just accepting that it is. It's really upsetting.
What I think we're at a really weird sweet spot with TV right now, where the TV thinks they have the budget. Like movies thought they had the budget in the early 2000s, maybe the mid to late 2000s, where they were like, "Oh, okay, it looks perfect, it looks great," you know. And it's like, it doesn't look that great, you know. we were watching the Peacemaker right before this, the newest episode, and like he goes into this very obviously CGI room in every episode, and it's like, yeah, I mean, if you had movie budget, this might look good, right? But it's like, this doesn't look that real, you know. It immediately takes you out of the thing.
Yeah.
TV is right. TV's there right now. It's really a problem.
There was a movie with whatever Netflix movie that was with Ryan Reynolds and The Rock. It looked awful, but like,
oh yeah,
there's straight up full scenes in that movie. Big budget movie with these $1 million fucking rock stars. There's some bad fucking green screen in that movie. It just looks awful. I'm like, and we're all cool with it.
I wonder how much
of that goes to hiring the actors.
What's that?
All that budget just goes to hiring the actors.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're in a weird little space right now where a lot of stuff is coming out that has the actors, but because of all the hardcore COVID protocols when it was filmed, that like there's a lot of shitty green screen right now that I keep seeing and stuff where I'm like, this movie seems like it's more expensive than this shitty fucking CGI.
It was really bad in The Matrix. It was really bad.
But the upsetting thing is that they're realizing that people are still watching with those setbacks, and they're just gonna keep doing shitty cheap finishers like that. And
they'll think people don't care. Like King Richard is a good example because that's a pretty good movie, but there's like just really practical scenes where like a RV is driving on a highway and it's all CGI and it looks like I'm watching a fucking video game cutscene.
Yeah,
this is taking me out of the.
Here's the thing: if the movie's focused on Venus, if Serena is a robot, I don't fucking care. Make Serena a robot. Who gives a shit?
Make the next one the real life Venus and Serena Williams team up with the kid Venus and Serena Williams, and they got to play doubles against.
They have to team up with Archie Bunker.
teach him a valuable lesson. Doctor Strange just walks in. He goes, "All right, let's bring him in."
Women tennis players. What is this?
He goes, "You have to learn to get along with this racist man from the '70s." Here we go.
Yeah.
So we went over reboots that we liked. Is there anything that hasn't been rebooted that you would like to be rebooted?
Spawn.
This guy's hammered.
They got Keith David back though, because Keith David's like the blood.
Have y'all gone back and watched the Spawn from the 90s?
It's great.
Keith David is fantastic. I love him in anything.
It's all those scenes with John Leguizamo in that big rubber suit.
They look great back then.
He's in the first scene of the movie, just in his silhouette. You see his big rubber head moving.
What's something you'd like to see a sequel of, Paul? Immediately before you're halfway through, Spawn.
Spawn, only Spawn.
Spawn. Why Spawn, Paul? Sell us on your Spawn reboot.
Yeah, how would you reboot Spawn, Paul? Given
I'll tell you,
it says Spawn boot, just so you know.
They keep throwing money at fucking Spider-Man and the whatever, the Batman and the Avengers. Where's the love for Spawn? They have not given any love to Spawn. I mean, look how cool he looks.
Where's the love?
He was in the last Mortal Kombat game. That's about as close as he's been to relevant.
That's right. That was
in a while.
Spawn was in something. Was in that Mortal Kombat game. Man, I used to have a toy of this Violator, John Leguizamo. Terrible.
Hey, you just going to the Toys R Us with your mom. Can you give me the John Leguizamo?
It was grotesque.
Hey, look at him. He looks great.
He looks great.
Hey, all practical at least. You know?
So what are some reboots y'all want?
He really gained the weight for that role. He's the Christian Bale of 90s comic book movies.
No, but I rewatched Spawn. I didn't rewatch it. I scrubbed through it. But I really wanted to get to the part where he burst through that. He burst through that party with his big CG cape coming out, and it's pretty bad. It's so fucking fun.
Yeah. I was so hyped for the Spawn movie in 1997 because I read all the Spawn comic books. I had the Violator toy, for God's sakes. And I was so let down by that movie. I did not think it was any good. Even back then.
Go ahead.
He had a lot of for a comic book character, he seemed to have more muscle than others. Like Spider-Man, he's
that was the 90s special, was bulk.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
The Todd McFarlane special.
Did you know, Paul, that Spawn was the character Todd McFarlane always wanted to do, but everyone thought it was too intense. So as soon as he did his own comic book company, it was the first thing he did. This is like the most successful thing he ever did.
And when Todd, it's too many belts. He has too many belts in this initial draft.
He goes,
you got to cut down on the belts.
That's it. I'm buying Mark McGwire's home run baseball, and you can't stop me. So
I strongly recommend the mega cut of all of the openings of the Spawn animated series that are live action. Todd McFarlane just talking at a desk. It's cool. He just goes. He goes, well, Spawn, nobody said that Spawn could do. It's like too long. Every one of them is like 10 minutes.
Just him bragging about Spawn.
Yeah, it's just like, Spawn's the most popular comic book ever. He kicked Captain America's ass. He's fucking, yeah, it's so weird.
I wish Spawn was my dad.
Spawn is the ideal male role model.
Yeah.
He goes, Spawn is the ideal male body.
Yeah.
You may not like it, but that's the performance.
He should have one big foot and one small foot. That's what makes him so good.
Don't you think Spawn looks a little like me?
He just makes all his shirts.
Y'all can hear that?
Like in these cases, just say Todd's Toys.
They all just say Spawn. He's working on the Ring of Power.
This has a very R.L. Stein and Goosebumps vibe.
What would you do if at the moment of death,
or even Crypt Keeper?
He looks like the bad guy in every 80s movie.
Have your answer? Time to think about it.
He's about to sell out RoboCop.
Hey, I'm Spawn. I'm sorry. I'm Todd McFarlane.
I'm Todd McFarlane.
Don't you think Spawn would make a good dad?
So he's so Canadian. I'm Todd McFarlane.
Is he related to Seth MacFarlane?
Yeah.
Great uncle. Yep.
That's his brother.
Goes,
so the guy who made Stewie and Family Guy.
It was actually Seth MacFarlane's
was way into Spawn.
You went, Todd, I got 2 ideas for you.
If Seth he was spun off into a different universe, he'd be Todd.
So they're not related. Okay.
Yeah, in an alternate reality, Todd McFarlane gets on the 9/11 plane. It goes right into the Pentagon.
No more Stewie, no American Dad.
Never happened. No Cleveland show never happened.
It's all out the window.
My answer for what if I could reboot something, I just saw someone watch this movie the other day, Arena. Have you ever seen this one before?
What is that?
It's a 1980. It's a
1989 Spawn movie.
It's not Spawn related. It's a movie about like in the future, there's this fighting league and this guy fights space aliens. It's like boxing. But he's always fighting monsters and aliens. It's a terrible, it's a crazy, not good movie. And I'm wondering if this is the remake of it.
I love the sound of it. The premise sounds great.
It's a good one. I really enjoyed it as a kid. And I was at work the other day, and I was walking by the break room, and someone was watching, and I just instantly recognized it. And I popped my head and go, "You watching Arena?"
Hey, I know that.
Hey, I know that.
Under what circumstances? How were they watching Arena? On an iPad?
They were watching it on a TV in the break room.
But I mean, was it a channel that they were watching?
I didn't dive into how they were watching Arena. I
just
saw it and I recognized
Arena. Yeah, I got it.
Is that a reboot of the Star Trek episode Arena where he fights the Gorn, the lizard guy? And he throws the rock at him. The axe handles.
Might as well be.
Let's find out
together. Would be a reboot equal of Entourage.
Oh.
So let me tell you, Vinny Chase has a kid right at this point because we've already done a direct sequel. We've done a movie sequel. I think a couple of us went and saw it together in theaters.
I definitely saw it in theaters. It was terrible,
and it was fantastic, so good. But so in this sequel, he's got a kid that's maybe 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that, right? Because we've had it far enough out from that. I think that's possible. Or maybe he discovers that he has a kid that he had in the original run of the show. Long story short, the kid is like a Disney Channel star, and we see the rise of a Vinny Chase type character through that rank, through the Zendaya path, become this new fucking celebrity. How good would that be?
What's Drama doing in this?
Drama's dead.
Oh, he got COVID and died.
What's Turtle?
COVID immediately. I mean, early pandemic.
Turtle,
he was on the Princess ship, and he fucking croaked before they got off the boat.
Turtle's driving driving the school bus. His tequila company went under.
Turtle's no. So Turtle's a guest on the show. He's like the principal of the school that the kids on.
That's good.
He's trying to get him hooked up. and Sasha Grey is, I don't know, still a porn star.
How about Sasha Grey's the mom, and she never told Vinny?
Because who wouldn't know how not to use condoms or get a fucking big old cream pie than a porn star?
Sasha Grey sounds like a legit porn star name. Is that?
It is.
Okay.
Sasha Grey is a porn star that is in the Entourage-verse.
Oh.
And she's a real life porn star, yes.
Yeah, she's great. You'd love her. She's a great actress. I guess she's a pretty good porn star.
In Entourage, they cover it. Then you had the new Vinny, little Vinny, having to also deal with the fact that hey, my mom's a porn star.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think of this?
That's Turtle. Turtle.
He goes,
what do you think of this?
Junior.
I didn't know this, but The Thing that came out in 1982, that was a reboot.
That's
Y'all know that?
Yeah, kind of a remake.
Remake. Yeah, it was before the word reboot was used in anything other than a comic book.
They did a lot of remakes in the 80s of 50s horror things.
And now we're remake all the 80s things.
Yeah, they remade The Thing.
Also, Paul, to add to that, there is a direct. I would argue it's still it's not even a reboot equal. There is a Thing sequel.
It's a prequel. It's the Norwegian base.
Yeah, it's right before they get to the other base. Yeah,
you gotta find out how that axe got in the wall.
Yeah, it's a prequel. Norwegians that don't
finally
speak English.
Finally, they answered the question about the axe. How it got there.
It's so dumb because that movie works so well because you don't know what happened before. That's the cool part.
You know the most exciting thing about that new Thing movie is that they had practical Thing monster effects for the whole thing. And they went in and CGI'd them all out, and it made it look so bad and cheap.
Yeah.
I call it it's called the Wolfman. It's called the I Am Legend effect. They spend a lot of money on real shit, and they go, nah, throw it in the garbage.
The Hobbit movies, like they had real life orcs, and they go, you know what? This time, let's try all CGI orcs. See how this works out.
We're gonna force you to make 3 movies in two, but you're gonna cash a big fucking check, Peter J.
Jesus. That's what I couldn't stand about Spider-Man is the other 2 Spider-Man were real suits, and what's his buckets, the new kid, is just like in a totally CGI tracksuit. Like it sticks out like a sore thumb, and you don't. It's only when it's right next to the other 2 old.
It wouldn't be obvious if it wasn't right side by side.
Is that why they made that last scene so dark, so you couldn't see?
Probably. The last scene of Ghostbusters is crazy dark. Like I was trying to do a screenshot of it for the picture I posted on Instagram earlier. It's all brown and black the whole
time. Get a good shot of Gozer.
It's eventually going to be entirely CG. Like, there's not going to be any actual shooting with the camera.
You're right.
Like Toy Story.
I wanted to watch before this because I wanted my reboot equal to be Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
I was just going to bring that up because he said movies that are all CGI. That's what they were trying to do. They were pitching those as like actors.
Mm-hmm. And back then, and I'll be the first person to admit it. When I saw it, I was like, "Holy shit, this fucking looks so cool."
Well, and Beowulf too, right? Was the other one.
Yeah.
Beowulf,
Scanner Darkly was also one of those.
Robert Zemeckis really pushed that for a couple of years for a couple of different movies.
So I had to watch The Christmas Train, is what I call it. I'm not going to accept any other thing that's called The Christmas Train. I had to watch that at Christmas this year and it's just so bad.
The Polar Express?
Oh yeah,
Christmas Train. You're talking about Christmas Train.
Let's reboot it, baby.
Reboot it as a live action Polar Express. Tom Hanks.
Is that what you want? Sell me on Christmas Train.
That's we call Christmas Train.
Christmas Train 2022.
Eric, what's your reboot? If you were going to reboot one thing out of any franchise that hasn't been rebooted, what would you do?
God, is there anything that hasn't been rebooted yet though? That's what I'm having
Trip to the Moon.
Say Sopranos. That would have been the other thing I would have said.
But Sopranos got the prequel. I feel like they basically did it.
That's not a reboot.
That's a backdoor pilot to a series.
You know what? Reboot The Simpsons. Stop, just make it new again, because we don't believe that The Simpsons met in the 90s at this point, right? That Mark
do it as Bart as the dad?
Yeah, do Bart as the dad, or do Lisa and Bart as adults.
My kids.
Do
the future Lisa's president with her polyamorous marriage.
Apu doesn't talk.
Apu has COVID, so he can't talk.
Apu's dead in the back and not talking, just waiting.
It's all set in the future, so Apu has like a voice box that goes, "Hello, Bart and Lisa. It's been so long."
I think
thing is, so he can't do a Apu anymore, but he's still doing Bumblebee Man, and
nobody
no one
gives a
says
shit
anything.
about us, man.
No one cares when you do
They'll
Mexican.
kick us every chance they get.
As long as Heckasaria is doing a Hispanic character, whatever. Who
No one
cares?
cares about Mexicans or Hispanics because, and also, case in point, Nacho Libre. I hope nothing ever happens to it. I hope it never gets recalled, never gets called out because it's fucking perfect.
Yeah, and
it's a very obvious white man playing him, doing a very offensive Mexican.
And you're allowed to do that. You get to pick. Because I said, do you guys want me to say Latinx? And then you overwhelmingly said no. And I said, okay, I won't. And then that was it. Like I threw it out the fucking thing. I said Latino, Latina, abuela, whatever grandpa is. I said it all.
I stand by it because again, like my favorite reboots are always animated. I loved when they redid Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Kai, and like it's fun. I don't mind it when they do it with animation. So if they rebooted Simpsons, think about like people would be watching The Simpsons again. I think.
Yeah, if you brought in new writers, like completely brought in like funny new writers, hell yeah, that's a great.
But here's the thing. Call it Simpsons 2.
Oh yeah, that's a great name. It's about Maggie and her family.
Yeah, it's about Maggie.
She's still a baby. She still has the pacifier. She doesn't talk.
And Lisa's the president. We can keep some continuity of the future episode.
Bart and Ralph live together, and Bart.
There's Vice President Kamala Harris. Still,
that's still canon.
Stefan, what about you? What would you reboot given the unlimited paycheck of Hollywood?
My serious answer is probably something like They Live, like John Carpenter's movie.
That's a good one.
Roddy Piper, and then I would just make it 90% that fight scene. I would just 60 minutes in the middle of that fight scene, dragged out. And you just every time you think it's over, it just restarts.
They get in the car and they go somewhere else. They go to a different part of the town, start fighting again.
Just completely launched. Other than that, Citizen Kane. For someone to show that idiot Wells how to do it. He's cool.
That fat fool, that fat violator clown.
It's going to have all the Spider-Mans in it and all the Batmans too.
Yeah,
everyone's going to be in it.
It literally starts off with somebody, he drops it and he goes, he says the name and he goes, it's a fucking slab.
He goes, Spider-Man, and then he drops it.
Yeah, it starts on a close-up of the sled, and as it comes out, as it gets wider and wider, a portal just appears in the middle.
Every Orson Welles character comes out of it.
There's a freeze on the sled, and it goes, I wonder how I got here. You're wondering how I got here. As a tree.
A portal opens, and Sub-Zero comes out and takes the sled and jumps back in the portal.
And Kane goes, here we go.
And then Citizen Kane just goes, not again.
Jeepers Creeper.
Oh, man. They're talking about someone who needs a reboot, Jeepers Creepers. All right, Stefan, so you have a game for us, which is great. Every guest should do that.
I brought a game. We'll see how well this goes. It only has one category, so you don't have to worry. It'll go pretty quick.
All right.
That's the problem with games recently is I come with way too much.
You brought too much game. And we only need a certain amount of game. A certain boot's worth of game.
Sometimes when you're drunk and you start the game goes on a half hour. That's just how it goes sometimes.
So this game is trying to find what movie out of the options has the biggest gap in IMDb rating. So original to remake, what is the biggest change in score? And I'll give you 3 options. And then for a bonus point, you can try and guess how long it took them to reboot something.
All right.
So the first
original to remake.
I have 3 movies, and some of these might be remakes. I don't fucking know. Who cares? The first set is RoboCop. Poltergeist. If you remember, they made a Poltergeist remake / reboot.
Sam Rockwell's in that one.
And Conan the Barbarian.
Conan, because they did a Conan with Khal Drogo, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
So what are we doing with this?
You're trying to guess what is the biggest change in score from the original to the remake out of the 3 options. Like what was
box office score?
No, this is IMDb score, so user rating. So what was the reaction from original to remake? How big did that change?
All right.
And it might be positive. I don't know. Probably.
It goes RoboCop,
RoboCop, Poltergeist, or Conan the Barbarian?
I'm going with Poltergeist.
Okay.
I'm gonna say RoboCop. We'll go in order from top to bottom. That's how you guys are seeing it too. Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, Eric.
I'm going with RoboCop as well.
Yeah, I'm all in on RoboCop. Yeah, and as much as I love him, I love that dude from The Killing, and I wanted that movie to be so good, and it was so bad. But yeah, I'm gonna say RoboCop.
It was Poltergeist.
Damn.
What?
Oh, man, all the Poltergeist.
And
because think about it, Poltergeist is a classic. It was probably so well loved, and I didn't even know there was a remake of it. That's how probably bad it was.
So here's the changes. RoboCop originally a 7.6 went down to a 6.1.
Ooh,
that's not
Poltergeist a 7.3, worse than RoboCop, which I agree with in every sense. Versus a 4.9, so a whole 2.4 point difference going from the original to remake.
That really does fall on, nobody saw that shit, and the people who didn't like it. So.
I barely remember it happened.
Underestimated horror fans.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Horror fans will go and tank something if they want to.
But I was banking on, RoboCop has this fucking nerd hardcore fans. They're gonna hate this remake. I watched it. He changes his suit too many times.
I think 6.1 is probably a fair score for that. Like, it's like, okay, this is a movie, not very good, but it is a
movie that has the same plot as RoboCop, and there's a.
So, can I ask you a question? I'm thinking maybe the issue with the reason it's Poltergeist is a drop off in rating. I think Poltergeist might be rated R, and Poltergeist new is PG-13.
Wasn't the original Poltergeist? Was that R? There's not really anything violent.
I think Poltergeist, the original, is a PG. Actually, it was before the PG-13.
Yeah, there's no like nudity. There's no like gore in it or anything.
There's a killer clown.
There's some real skeletons that they made a lady swoon with without telling her.
Yeah, there's some real corpses for real.
They didn't care back then.
I might be wrong. I'll look that up. Let's do the next.
Poltergeist
and Barbarian 6.9 to 5.2. So
I never saw the new Conan.
Now, Conan, you know what? I should throw that out because I'm almost certain that the new Conan is PG-13.
Yeah, that's probably a very significant change. So, bonus point if you guys want to try, if you want to guess which one took the, let's say the shortest amount of time, because I'm making the rules up on the fly, the shortest amount of time to reboot of those three options.
Okay.
Now, real quick, hold on. I need a ruling here.
Mm-hmm.
Stefan, is it reboot from the original or reboot from the end of the timeline of the sequels?
From the original.
Okay.
Oh.
Willis Dust.
I'll go Conan.
I think RoboCop still was the shortest amount of time.
I'm going Poltergeist this time.
I will stick with RoboCop as well.
It is RoboCop. 27 years.
No bonus point for me.
Poltergeist was 33 years and Conan was 29 years.
Famously filmed in Dallas.
Next question.
Major film hub. All right. Round 2. And this is where it starts getting spicy.
Oh boy.
The Thing. And I'm talking the 80s Thing versus the newer Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Total Recall. Or Blair Witch.
So, you mean that new Blair Witch from a couple years ago?
Yes.
Was that a reboot? I didn't even realize.
Blair Witch 2: Book of Shadows. That's a direct sequel.
That's a
direct
sequel.
Way that makes no sense.
They're looking for the people from the first movie, I think.
Yeah.
I saw it on Halloween night in a costume with my mother. It was great.
I saw it on the Sci-Fi Network once 20 years ago.
So go down one more time. I'm sorry, the dog distracted me.
We have The Thing.
Okay.
The John Carpenter classic.
Versus the one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yep. Versus Scott Pilgrim's Girlfriend. Total Recall. So the original with Arnie versus the Colin Farrell, I think, remake.
Bryan Cranston.
Or Blair Witch, which I guess is The Blair Witch versus Blair Witch.
I would argue Mary Elizabeth Winstead is actually from Final Destination 3. That's her first.
I give her the death proof. I'm gonna say that this one's gonna come down to The Thing.
I'm going The Thing. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, I'm next, right? I'm The Thing as well.
Paul didn't go, so we'll go back to Paul.
No. Well, how about we go? Instead of if Paul goes first,
go down one
we'll
every
go down.
time.
We'll shift down. That actually worked out pretty good. Just like that Post-it note.
So hold on. What are my options again? We got The Thing.
We have The Thing. We have Total Recall, or we have Blair Witch.
I'm gonna go unpopular opinion. I'm gonna say Total Recall because it's not Blair Witch.
I'm gonna say Total Recall as well because I started watching the new one and it is absolute dog shit. So
it was The Thing.
Hey.
And the scores here: The Thing went from an 8.1 to a 6.2. Total Recall went from a 7.5, which I think is underrating it. That's a pretty good movie.
It's one of Verhoeven's best, I'd say.
Versus a 6.2 also. And Blair Witch went from a 6.5 to a 5.0.
I think you're underrating the original Blair Witch. It was
big time.
Big time.
That's a 10. That's a 10 across the board.
The Thing makes the most sense, which is why I picked it. Because again, it's that whole that what makes the thing is the practical element of it, the practical creature stuff. And
that's what you love to see.
Erased all that out of it. It's like, of course, it's gonna fucking be worse.
And I totally agree, but I thought fanboys would be more concerned with Total Recall than they would be with The Thing. That was kind of where I was going.
They thought people would be more interested in seeing snow than actual monsters. So.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like, if you were going from one to the other, you'd probably be the most disappointed by the changes that they made. Because, like, at least the Total Recall movie, they, like, moved it to Earth or whatever, and it's stupid and it's a remake. But I think the worst thing you can say about that movie is that it's just Total Recall again, but worse.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the good news is with The Thing that The Thing still happens because it's on a different base. It's just the axe.
Yeah,
it's just about the axe.
But just see in the first in the John Carpenter's The Thing, seeing that scene like where they explored the Norwegian base is so creepy because you're just piecing together in your head what happened. Right. So to actually see it play through and it's fucking lame, sucks ass.
I want to know what happened to that girl that thought that the train was going to go off the tracks at the amusement park in Final Destination 3. Did with all of the bass in the language that she didn't fucking speak.
She speaks English. Doesn't make sense why she's even there, honestly. All right, next one. Next one up.
All right, and this is the last technical round, or technically the last round, and it has 4 choices this time.
Oh,
this is the horror movie special.
These points, where are we at?
Right now,
you have to keep track of your own scores.
We're all tied up. We all have 1 point, I think, because Paul got 1, you got a bonus point, me and Eric just got 1 for The Thing, so. It all comes down to this.
Okay, beautiful. I love it. Let's do it.
So keeping in mind, biggest change from original to the remake, and there's 4 options here. I'm going number 1, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Halloween. Number 3, Friday the 13th. And number 4, Nightmare on Elm Street.
This is a great one. This is my favorite round.
Man, I forgot.
This is the movie also called Texas Chainsaw Massacre that came out in the early 2000s. So just
the first one that was like the new version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The one with Jessica Biel.
Yeah, I think it is Jessica Biel.
The one with McConaughey.
Her face wears her boyfriend's skin and turns around in the snow.
Yeah. All right. So it's basically all the slashers of 80s yore versus their remakes.
So we're shifting down. I believe that's the first.
Eric's gonna go first.
Oh fuck, I'm going first.
Sister and Sally.
Oh, you know what? I know exactly which one it is. Oh fuck, I was just so confident. I hope I'm right. I think it's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh,
that's exactly what I was gonna say as well.
It is the biggest pile of shit. That remake is
I think a lot of horror fans care more about that.
We should watch it sometime. Anyway,
that movie's great. Or the remakes.
Yeah, the remake. Yeah.
It's a great choice of actor if you have to get someone that isn't him.
Which is
a good choice.
Which is another reason why it's so disappointing.
Because they just take him as like they made him a pedophile. It's gonna be great.
They did it.
We're gonna spell it out. He definitely molested all the kids.
Doesn't that make Freddy more likable? Everyone.
Freddy was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell.
It's prison time, bitch. He's a pedophile now.
I was on Epstein's plane, bitch.
All right.
I went to Fuck Island, bitch.
All right, so you both said Freddy. Damn it.
That first scene from Nightmare on Elm Street where he hangs the guy in his dream. That's what happened to Epstein. That's
right. Freddy got him.
Very, very prescient when you think about it.
go, sorry, Jeffrey, I'm back. So I can't say Friday or
wait, hold on. Paul has to guess.
Oh, that's right. Paul's up next.
Oh, wait, what did Shannon pick?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I did Nightmare as well, yeah.
Okay, so there's Nightmare on Elm Street, there's Halloween. What were the other two?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th.
Friday is Jason, Paul, if you don't.
The hockey.
Yeah, thank you. I wouldn't have known it was Kruger or whatever for Nightmare on Elm Street either. I'm gonna go with Halloween.
Damn it!
That's a good guess, though. That is a good
I'm also gonna say Halloween because I wanted to win.
So we're saying with Halloween, just so we're clear, you guys are saying it's an upscale, no?
No, it's from
down.
from downscale, so it goes from the good score to the bad. That's what
but Halloween is so good. I just don't see people.
Wait, you talking about the Rob Zombie Halloween?
We're talking
the
about
change can happen in either direction. So
yeah, that's a good question. We didn't say which Halloween we were talking about.
I assumed it was the very first Halloween.
Are we saying zombie, or are we saying David Gordon Green?
Because that one's technically a sequel.
Yeah,
the
you got
newer
you
one is a
there.
sequel.
Yeah, the Zombies a reboot. 100%.
Fair enough. All right.
It turns out.
You guys might be right then. We might have fucked this, Eric.
I just thought, man, that Rob Zombie Halloween's very.
The Rob Zombie Halloween is very polarizing.
It does have its fan base. It does have its fan base. That's true.
So people do like it a lot. All right.
Alan, is that what you're lacking in Halloween as well?
Ooh, I'm so excited. What is it?
Well,
this is legitimately the best game we've ever
It is, yeah.
Just
great.
for chance, I'm going to say Friday.
Getting much more thought than we ever had.
You're changing Alan.
Friday the 13th, the first one, though, couldn't have. I'll say Friday the 13th.
It's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah! Well, now they need a tiebreaker, right?
Yeah, and luckily I have one more round prepared.
Perfect. Damn it, it's a nightmare.
Best game ever. Let's do it.
So, and just to run the scores by you, Texas Chainsaw Massacre went from a 7.5 to a 6.2.
Okay.
Halloween, and I accounted for both ones. It didn't make a difference. It went from a 7.7 to a 6.1 with Rob Zombie, or a 6.6 for the 2019 one. Friday the 13th, least change overall, 6.4 to a 5.5.
I was gonna fucking say that. Sorry.
Yeah, like that one, like the remake is like kind of fine or whatever.
The remake's fun.
Like another sequel.
It's about as good as you'd expect from a Jason.
Famously,
and it actually has Jason, which the first movie doesn't. So I guess it's kind of not a reboot. It's a weird thing to try and qualify.
Filmed in
has a guy likes beating up his employees too, if you know what I mean.
And Nightmare on Elm Street went from a 7.5 to a 5.2. A 2.3 point difference.
So Nightmare, I would argue, is also the most remake of the list because it's very shot for shot in a lot of cases.
Yeah, they stole everything, and the only thing they did was make him look gross and make him a pedophile.
Yeah, make him diddle some kids. Yeah.
Have you ever seen that version of Kruger, Paul?
No, I haven't seen the new remake of 13th or.
Here's the thing.
I probably haven't seen the Halloween either, though.
That Nightmare and the Friday, both of those remakes are like over 10 years old at this point. Isn't that crazy?
That's the wild thing, right? It's like we did them and they go, nah, they sucked.
That's sure they're going to bring that shit back in no time flat.
They will.
Here's Freddy again.
Third picture.
Freddy really sucks in this, right? He looks like Like Jason is the hockey mask, but Freddy looks bad.
Yeah, if you don't make the Freddy, because there's the Freddy you want. That's not.
He's great. I mean, the actor is good, right? He's trying very hard, but that makeup sucks.
Jackie Earle.
Jackie Earle, and he's
from
in previous movies.
What was the other one? Wes Craven's New Nightmare? Pull up that Freddy, because like that's the only other time that they redesigned him, and he looks kind of weird in that one too.
He looks weird. He doesn't look that bad. He doesn't look like a
arguably, Freddy gets redesigned in every movie. He always looks different because there's always different.
New Nightmare the pandemic because
I do like that Freddy makeup, the Jackie or Haley makeup. I do like it. I think it's technically a really good makeup. It's just not Freddy.
It's just like it's too big a departure from like what you're looking for.
It's very real looking, and also
nobody liked his bone hand glow.
I love the bone hand. I think bone hand's dope.
It was I got a bone hand to pick with you.
Yeah, it looks
my
like
red right hand.
Is that supposed to be like his exposed brain?
It's like his muscle. It looks like muscle.
Like he's burned, so his skin's gone.
Yeah, I think it's like around the scalp or whatever. Yeah.
So I do have a bonus round. I have a bonus round, and this is worth 2 points. It's 2 questions, 2 points.
2 points. Everyone, look alive.
Shut up.
So
2
this
points.
could be a game switcher.
Okay.
The question is, how many times has Texas Chainsaw Massacre been rebooted or remade or prequelized?
Oh, that's a good one.
So not counting sequels then.
Not counting any numbered sequels. That's right.
So rebooted, remade, or prequelized.
Are we counting things that have finished production and are not yet available?
Oh, like the MTV series?
No, like the Netflix series.
Oh, that's right.
I have my answer.
It has to be a movie. It has to be a movie. That's all I'll say.
All right, so Shannon, you go first, Shannon. This is your turn.
Oh shit, it's me, huh?
It's a number, Paul.
I got
do the math.
I will go 4.
I'm going. Oh, sorry. Am I next?
It's Paul's next.
I'll go 4 as well.
I'm gonna say 3 then.
I'm gonna say 5.
All right. Are we going Price is Right rules here?
Yeah, let's do
Yes.
Price is Right. Yeah, why not?
Unless we all went over. 6.
And I will list these out, and then this will lead into the second part question.
Real quick, can I say something before you list them? I was gonna go 4, but then I remembered something. I remembered a little movie called Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's a reboot. Anyway, so I threw that in. It
controls
was
his leg. Matthew McConaughey controls his leg with a TV remote, and then there's a battle where they have different universal remotes, and they control his leg to fight. And that's how she survives.
That's such a bad movie.
So this is I'll list them all, and then the last one will be trying to guess what has the highest score out of all the reboots. There's Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. There's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Beginning from 2006, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D from 2013 with Alexandra Daddarino, I think. There's Leatherface.
Hey, just call her the chick with the tits from True Detective, and we'll all know what you're saying.
Tits and eyes. Leatherface 2017. And then there is a 2022 unreleased as of yet Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot. Jeez. So I guess that one you can't guess the score because it's not out.
Right.
But we're trying to guess of the 5 that have been released in the last 30 years. What is the highest rated?
I believe we're back to Paul first.
Yep.
I'll go with that 2003 one.
Okay.
Out of all of those, highest rated.
Next Generation, just Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning, 3D, Leatherface, or 2022 reboot?
I'm gonna say the Beginning.
I'm gonna also say the 2003 remake.
Leatherface.
It's the 2003. It is the first reboot.
Yes,
Alan, you were close because The Beginning is the second highest rated of those remakes.
I honestly don't even like the Texas Chainsaw movies, so I haven't seen.
I don't either, and I've seen every single one of them multiple times.
Stefan, what a fun game that was! Thank you so much. Eric wins, I think. I think Eric has.
Oh yeah,
has the most points.
I finally won a game.
It makes sense. I mean, let's give it to him.
This makes sense. Had full of Krugers and Voorheeses and everyone else under the sun.
It was fun. That was a good one.
Oh man, this has been the HiLo Cast. Stefan, thank you so much for coming on tonight, talking about reboots. Good time as always.
And as always, we're gonna do the dinner roundup. What everybody have for dinner tonight?
We'll start with you
already.
I got Trudy's downstairs. I can't wait. I'm on my final meal tour of Austin, so I'm gonna be eating some Trudy's.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I got Trudy's on the list. I gotta get a Thundercloud sub. Probably hit P. Terry's before I take off.
We do one more good pizza from somewhere before you go too. Austin's
got buddy, we got Raleigh pizza. Get ready. It's gonna be fucking.
We got
to the Northeast with pizza, man.
We got Taco Bell pizza. Don't worry, man. We're all set. Eric, you already said you got Taco Bell, right?
I had Taco Bell tonight. I might get more. I'm pretty hungry.
Paul?
I made my wintry mix green chili, chicken enchilada soup.
That sounds great.
I wish he would have ended it with wintry mix, and we had to. Then the final round of the game was what's in it. Wintry.
Yeah,
That sounds disgusting.
Whenever it's cold, I make this stew, and it's so good.
I have some leftover French onion soup that I'm about to heat up when this ends here. So.
What are we in Colorado, my friend?
Stephen, yeah.
I had a chana masala earlier, but I'm probably gonna have some late night Wendy's. So.
Hell yeah,
Fuck yeah, dude!
Fuck yeah,
spicy nuggets, baby.
I haven't had their fancy chicken sandwich yet. I want to know how it compares to the chicken sandwich wars.
Yeah, that's right. They made a new one, right?
I hope it's in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Well, as we always say at the end of every dinner roundup, bon appetit.